Agud Vagraboisai. Yoni Klestzick me and Shlomo Lazarian. Raboisai, unbelievable. We made it. All the shiurim before, like a few thousand views of shiurim, downloaded all those shiurim, so it was kedai. It was kedai to do those shiurim. Baruch Hashem, I put on at least 7 pounds over the first few days. Gewaldige stuff, gewaldig. Just want to show you a few pictures here, and then we'll jump into the shiur. So yishkoyach for all the guys, especially the guys in Ramat Shemesh, in Beis Medrash, holding down the fort. We have 81 people live right now. 81 people live. A good moed to everybody. To remind Olam that Chol Hamoed is Yontif. It's Yontif. That's why you should try not to go to work, not to work. You should try to wear Big Day Shabbos as much as it's annoying. Oh, I'm sitting here in front of somebody that's in his exercise clothes. I got to remind the Olam Sira Sa'imer, today is 2 days. Hayoim Shnei Yomim Ba'omer Ola Omer. And if try not to go shopping, try not to do all that non-Yontif stuff. Things that you don't do on Yontif, don't do on Chol Hamoed. Chol Hamoed is Yontif, just with a few relaxations, but just a few. Remember that. A bunch of people wrote to me that because of when we're learning Chagiga, discussed it many times, they stopped going to work, they shut down their business. Kol hakavod, halavai. Here's a guy, I don't remember who, I think he's related to Avrami Cohen. I got this remember. Doing the daf, 40 minutes to Shabbos while hosting 20 people. The boy said, here you go. I don't know why it's not working. Here we go, it is working. 20 minutes before Shabbos. Or 40 minutes to Shabbos, 20 hosting. The daf comes first. Tzvi Spiro. Onu rotzim v'heim rotzim. Got to the hotel for Yontav maybe last night. My 12-year-old had downloaded Makkos Daf Beis to his MDY tablet. But when we got into the car, it wouldn't play for some reason. We get to the hotel, and he really wanted to get to his room. I go check on him after a little bit, and this is what I found. How you have changed my family. Thank you. Tzvi Spiro. Kol hakavod. I have to say that on Yontav, in the middle of Yontav, my son, my Bchar, gave me tremendous, top 3 nachas moments of my son. He got up in front of the whole hotel and made a siyum on mesechta Sanhedrin. The big siyum was a lot of tears were shed. I'm not going to talk about myself, but my wife was crying like a little baby. A few other people were crying. It was a very emotional thing. Mazel tov to my son Aaron. Thank you for all those who supported him and put money into the account for him. So yishkoyach to you all for encouraging him. At the Shabbaton, we did a whole thing to get him to go and to get him to do it, and he did it every single day with the emails, with everything. And it was because of a bunch of people at the Shabbaton. They got together and put together a nice amount of money. So yishkoyach gadol. And now he's starting mesechta Makkos without any incentive. B'toich shaloi lishma. Bolishma. Aaron Biber. I've written before. I'm a 10th grader in Darchei in Rabbi Notis Shir. I was driving on Central yesterday, and what a perfect day to see what I saw. I just want to thank Rebbe for all that he taught me. It's unbelievable what Rebbe is doing. Have a great Yontiv. Your number one Talmud, Aaron Biber, Dafer since Soita. Join MDY. And the Rabbi said, the mesechta sponsored by Anonymous. Hatzlacha bruchnius ubigashmis. Yisroel Cherns in honor of my chavrisa. Shmueli Unger, Szlafrok Family, memory of their uncles, Simmy Schaer, Simcha Yisrael, Naftali Tzvi A. The whole mesechta sponsored by the Szlafrok Family. And Anonymous, may our learning bring us closer to one another and to Hashem. Yishkoyach, we have 4 mesechta sponsors, monthly sponsors. Hatzlacha B'Parnasa, Baruch Tzvi, Nissim ben Shoshana Leah, Yoni Klestzick. Refuah Shleima, Yehudit, Brayno, Revkah. Weekly sponsor, anonymous, in honor of my first completed mesechta doing Daf Yomi. I wish I knew who this person is. In honor of my first completed mesechta doing Daf Yomi. Finished mesechta Sanhedrin, I guess, and that's unbelievable. Mazel tov. Kollel sponsor for the month. Thank you to Rebelli's wife and kids for the great sacrifice they make, allowing him to spread Torah to the masses. Thank you. R of the month for Shleima for Yonatan Bracha in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Rabbi Sai, we are here on Daf Vav Amud Beis. 4 lines from the bottom. Dover acher al pi shnayim edim shloitei Sanhedrin shemas mepi hameturgamon. When the Torah says that you should hear al pi shnayim edim, you should hear from the mouth of the 2 edim. So the Mishnah says that the Sanhedrin shouldn't hear the testimony from a translator. So I promised Erev Yontif, I'm going to say over one of my favorite jokes, if not my favorite joke. I hope there's so much build up this joke that it's not that funny. I love this joke. There was a Mexican guy who stole a ton of money, and the sheriff caught him, and the sheriff started torturing him, and it was apparent that the Mexican guy couldn't speak any English, so he brought in a translator, and the translator comes in and he tells the guy, "Tell the sheriff where do you hide the money?" So the guy said, "I'm not going to tell him where I hid the money." So the sheriff pulls out a gun and says, "Listen, you tell the guy that if he doesn't tell me where the money is, I'm going to shoot him right now." So he tells the guy, the sheriff said, that if you don't tell him where the money is, he's going to shoot you right now. So the guy says, "Okay." I hid it under the tree, right by the bridge, on the left side of the tree, 3 feet down under the ground. So the translator turns over to the sheriff and he says, "The man says he's not afraid to die." And the sheriff went, I love the joke. The man says he's not afraid to die. Yeah. Why I like it that much, I don't know. It just is. Says the Gemara, there are these people that spoke Laz. In other words, they spoke a different language. Rava Turkman Benayu and Rava put a translator. Asked the Gemara, how could Rava use a translator? But nan, we learned in the Mishnah, you can't use a translator. Says the Gemara, Rava made it's like me in Yiddish. I understand everything. But to speak is much more difficult. A little, but nothing. I can speak better than that. But there's a level of understanding a language completely, and then the level of speaking it. So Rav understood everything, but he needed a translator to repeat over what Rav is saying to them. He understood them. So there wasn't a problem of eidos that you don't understand. Says the Gemara Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, Elah v'Toivia krive da'arba. There's 2 people, Elah and Toivia, and they were the witnesses on a loan, but they were relatives of the guarantor. The loan had a loiv and a malva, a borrower and a lender, but a third guy was the guarantor that if the loiva, the borrower, doesn't pay back, then the guarantor is going to step in. They were related to him. This has nothing to do with, Makkos, but just once we mentioned, different things that Kroivim are apostolized. So Papa wanted to say that since these 2 people, Elah and Toivia, are not related to the main suspects over here, the main characters, the loiv and the malva, so it's okay. So Ravuna said no. If the loiva can't afford, he can't pay back the loan, so of course the malva is going to go and chase after the arev, the guarantor, and since these guys are related to him, therefore it's considered a kurva to the actual people in the case, and therefore it's no good. Says the Heilige Mishnah, Mi shenigmar dinoi uborach. Somebody had it in Torah, and they said, okay, you have to, whatever, the Bezdin said, this guy should die for whatever he did. And he ran away. Bezdin, it just reminds me, I have to say this over because it's very powerful. Erev Yontif. There are people that sometimes, when doctors give up on them, and they say there's nothing to do for the disease, so the Rabbanim will say, this is gula to go to Eretz Yisrael. Go to Eretz Yisrael. So it's based on this over here, on this Mishnah, as we'll see, because Eretz Yisrael has special schusim. We're going to see. So just have to share this. There was a person this year I'm very close to, and he said, I know that it's Erev Yontif, and I know you can't speak to anybody. I know you're doing shiurim, and I was busy with my 3 shiurim, and I didn't have the head for anybody. He says, but I need to speak to you. I realized that it's important, so I called him up. And we spoke for 7-8 minutes. And basically he told me like this. He said he has Yenamachla, he has cancer. And he's going through treatments. And the insurance dropped him. Insurance dropped him. And he tried to get new insurance, and he just couldn't, it wasn't working out. So he told his wife, he said, listen, I think it's a sign from Hashem that I have to leave this world. Then I'm done. I did my ishtadlus, he did his treatments, and now it is what it is. And he says that there's a guy from MDY that heard about this, and the guy started putting a lot of pressure on him that he should let him get him insurance. He's like, he's a very proud person. He says, no, I don't want to take from somebody else. He says, you have to take it. I'm going to pay for it. You have to take it. And finally, the other guy got him the insurance, paid for it in full, even though he has a pre-existing condition and it was very expensive. He got him the insurance, and he called me to tell me, he says, listen, I know you give shiurim and Torah, but you should know that behind the scenes, there's such tzaddikim in the shir, there's such mishpacha, and somebody went ahead and saved my life. I'm here now because of that person. He told me the name of the person. I know the person very well as well. So, shkoyach for letting me know this. Shkoyach for the other tzaddik who got him the insurance. Mi shenigmar dinoi ubarach. It was a hard Erev Yontif because I got all these messages, and it's very emotional. I was emotional as is because of the 3 shiurim, but great messages from Benny Rudnick and Mark Ashkenazi and this guy and the kids. It was very nice. Mi shenigmar dinoi ubarach. Somebody had a Gemar Din, the verdict was given, and he ran away. And he comes back to the same Bezdin that gave him the verdict. He says, okay, I'm giving myself up. You don't start all over again. But if 2 people show up and say, listen, we could testify that there was a verdict in such and such Bezdin, and these are the witnesses that could testify to that. You could kill somebody based on their testimony. Says the Mishnah, Sanhedrin noiheges ba'aretz ubechutz la'aretz. This is Sanhedrin of 23. Sanhedrin means 23. The Bezdin of 23 applies also in chutz la'aretz. You can have a Sanhedrin of 23. So how come today we don't have one? Because you need the real Sanhedrin of 71 in the Beis Hamikdash for this to apply. If you have the Sanhedrin of 71 in Eretz Yisrael, then you have 23 all over the world. A Maisa Shahaya, there was a guy that refused to give his wife a get. And he went to this Bezdin, that Bezdin. He was all over the place. And I believe he went to 4 different Bati Dinim. Finally, he was in Lakewood. And in Lakewood, they said, listen, go to Rabbi Karelitz. He kept her, I think it was like 15 years. He wouldn't give his wife a get for a very, very long time. So he said, okay, fine, we'll go to Rabbi Karelitz. He went to Rabbi Karelitz. He told Rabbi Karelitz his whole story. And the wife said her whole story. Rabbi Karelitz looked at him and said, listen, what you're saying is 100% true. You don't have to give her a get. You don't have to give her a get. And of course, her family that was there was furious. What do you mean you don't have to give a get? What, she's already in Aguna for 15 years. What now, another 15 years? You don't have to give her a get. He says, listen, if you want to be a mensch, you're not going to be married to her anyways, and you don't have a marriage, be a mensch. You can give her a get. But you're 100% right. You don't have to. Api halacha, what you're saying is 100% right. And after like 2-3 months, this guy gave a get, and they said, Reb Nissim understood what this guy needed to hear. He needed to hear that he's right. So he said it. So the family's all upset and everything. But at the end of the day, that's what the guy needed to hear, and that was the way to get him to give a get. Otherwise, he would never give a get. I hope the guy's not listening to the shir now. Now he knows that Reb Nissim tricked him. Okay, whatever. We said this already. Sanhedrin Hariregis Echad B'Shavua. If this 23 bezdin kills one person every 7 years, Nikris Choivlanis. In Yisrael, when there's a chafetz chashud, when there's like some sort of, bag by a bus stop, and nobody knows what it is, so you bring in the chablan, a destroyer. You bring in a robot. It comes. I've seen it a few times where the robot actually has a gun. Like everybody backs up hundreds of feet, and it goes all the way over to the bed. It's usually just some kid that forgot his knapsack by the bus stop, and then he has a nice little bullet hole through the knapsack. You probably never give it back to him. So if you kill somebody every 7 years, once every 7 years, you're a terrible bezdin, you're a destroyer bezdin. We had him by the Seder. Echad l'shivim shana, once every 70 years. So the Gemara is going to say, is one every 70 years bad or it's good? Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi say, also we had them in the Seder. If we were in the Sanhedrin, we have a way that nobody would die. We ask them questions that nobody can answer, and therefore the Edom are no good. What kind of maila is it to say, oh, nobody ever died? The whole point of capital punishment is to put fear into people so they shouldn't kill. If nobody's going to die in Bezdin, so nobody will be fearful, and then people will kill. So you're actually increasing murders. Says Gemara, Bezdin hudein soisrin. In front of that Bezdin, if the guy ran away and he comes back to the original Bezdin, you don't redo the din halafnei Bezdin acher. If you come back to a different Bezdin, soisrin, then you do. You redo the din if you go to another Bezdin. As Gemara, Tani Seifa, if two Edom show up and say, this is the verdict in such and such Bezdin, and those two are the Edom, Hariz and Erag, he dies. There's a difference between Eretz Yisrael and out of Eretz Yisrael. That what? The sign Rabbi Yehuda ben Istoy Yomer. Baruch me'aretz l'chutz la'aretz. Ein soisim dinoi. If a person runs away from Eretz Yisrael to outside of Eretz Yisrael, you don't redo the din. Chutz la'aretz la'aretz. But if somebody runs away from America, let's say, to Eretz Yisrael, soisim is dinoi, then you redo the din. Why? Because chuso shel Eretz Yisrael. People run away from their problems. They run away. Depends where you run away to. If you run away from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz La'aretz, it's not going to help you. But if you run away from Chutz La'aretz to Eretz Yisrael, there's special schusim in Eretz Yisrael that they can redo your din and maybe find favor in the Baldin. Sanhedrin Oyegis. Minani Mili. How do you know that the Sanhedrin applies also in Chutz La'aretz everywhere? Let's see. The Torah says, and that you have to see the end of the pasuk. See here, I'll show you. You can see over here. In all your dwelling places. You see, we people live all over the world. So the Sanhedrin of 23 all over the world. There's another pasuk. Oops, wrong one. This one. Shoyvtim v'shoytrim. Titein l'cha b'chol sha'arecha. So what's sha'arecha? B'sharecha l'chayr means in Eretz Yisrael, in your gateways, in Eretz Yisrael. B'sharecha atamoishu b'tedinim chol pelach chol pelach. Yeah, there is an afkamina. There's a difference between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz. That what? When you're in Eretz Yisrael, you put a 23 bezdin b'chol pelach chol pelach in every province and province. U'b'chol ir va'ir in every city and city. Chutz La'aretz atamoishu b'chol pelach chol pelach. Put in every province. But you don't need a bezin in every single city. That's why the Torah says b'sharecha. Sanhedrin ha'reges. So the Mishnah said that Rebbe Elazar ben Azari said once in 70. Ibaylu. What did he mean? Achas l'shivim shara nikras chablanis. If that bezin kills once every 70 years, it's considered a destroying bezdin. Or perhaps the opposite. That's good. Once every 70 is normal. Teiku. I don't know how to. The Gemara says we don't know. Rabbi Tarfenoimer. Rabbi Tarfenoimer. You both say if we were there, nobody would die. What would they ask the bezdin? Or I'm sorry. What would they ask? What would the bezdin ask the Edom in order to avoid killing the? Not the. What's the word I'm looking for? The perpetrator. The accused. They would ask him, did you check the body afterwards to see that the guy that died wasn't a treifa? Because if he was a treifa, if something was inherently wrong with the guy that he would die within 12 months, then we can't kill the Ritzeach. It's also to kill, but we wouldn't give misa. Did you check? Did you open him up and do an autopsy? Of course you didn't. So Mela, get out of here. And even if he says, yeah, he's perfect, he's not a treifa, maybe the point where the sword went into the heart, the guy already had a pre-existing hole, and the sword went right into that hole. So you couldn't tell that he was actually a treifa beforehand. So Mela, every criminal could get, every rotzech could get out of it. As the Gemara, and if somebody came to testify that he saw somebody being over in a rayas, what kind of question would they ask that would get him off the hook? This is a lashon that means like a woman's makeup has her eyelashes, whatever they have, like it has a brush that goes into a small canister. So it's a lashon that you see with your own eyes, that you see the actual ma'isa. Obviously not. You saw something that, whatever, you saw around and around, you didn't see the actual thing. And Mamela, they get off the hook. So there's a fascinating Tosfos here. It just gives us a little insight. Look at Tosfos over here. Oops, sorry. So Tosfos says, that's a question, what about with Zar and Michal Shabbos? So he says, 5 lines down, Be a Shloimar. You hear what Tosfos says? In the time of the Gemara, it was a lot more shchiach. It was more common for a person to kill than to find someone that was Michal Shabbos. From all the Jews, people were not Michal Shabbos and they weren't Oved Avodah Zarah. It's not common, says Tosfos. I just thought it's fascinating. Okay? Says the Gemara. Rabbanon, how could you say Rebekah, Rebbe Tarfon, they would get somebody off the hook when it came to Arayis? And what would Rabbanon do? How would they make him be chayev? How could somebody be made that he saw Kim Chol B'Shveiferes? Says Gemara Kishmuel, Shmuel b'Menoafim. When it comes to people that are over on Arayis, Meshiyiro Kim Menoafim. It's not necessary to see Kim Chol B'Shveiferes. They have to see something that looks like Arayis, looks like Tashmish, but from the side, whatever Menafim do, but they don't have to see literally Kim Chol B'Shveiferes. With that, we finish the first parak of Makkos. Hadron Aloch Ketzad Eidim, Hadron Aloch Ketzad Eidim, Hadron Aloch Ketzad Eidim, which be'etzem really means that we just finished about a third of Makkos. Says the Mishnah. Brand new parak. Elu heina goylen. This is the list of people, and this is the things that you have to do in order to go to Gullus. These are the people that go to Gullus. So again, a person who kills somebody by mistake in certain situations must go to a special city, which the parak is going to discuss. He has to leave his family, go to the special place. Otherwise, a family member, the Goyal Adam, could come and kill this person, even though he killed by mistake. That's the halacha. How does it work? Hahoyreg nefesh b'shgaga. Somebody that kills somebody by accident. They say, I don't know, it's a little bit of a joke, I guess. The Rosh Hashivas in Eretz Yisrael, they constantly have to go to the Chutz La'aretz. That's their galus. Why? Because perhaps they killed a bacher in yeshiva by putting a bacher down and destroying his life, whatever. They have to go. So they told this to Rabbi Kotler. Rabbi Kotler said that a Rosh Yeshiva, because he's a public figure, he must have insulted a bacher in public unnecessarily, and that means that he killed it b'shoigeg. It's a very, very sad thing for me to hear, because I must have done it also. When you have a microphone and you have a lot of people and things come out, the filter is not the best. So it's very sad, very, very sad. You have to do a lot of tshuva. So the Mishnah says, Hoya ma'agil b'ma'agela. So this is what I found. This is all Matzei Yantiv, right? The way it worked is, let's just say this is the device right over here, something like this. They had a roller. So it says in the time of the Gemara, they had flat roofs. In his time, they were more like pointy roofs. They say in Eretz Yisrael, there's a few signs. If you want to see if a house is an Arab house or a Jewish house, usually you go by, you're not sure, hey, am I going through an Arab village? If it's flat roofs, it's Arab villages. If they have these black water tanks on the roofs, those are Arab villages usually. And giant satellites, there's a few siman. So they would make the roof slightly tilted. It was flat, but with a little bit of a tilt. And when this guy is pushing the roller away from him, that's a downward motion. Why? Because he's on the slant. He's standing over here and he's pushing it towards the bottom. He's going downwards. And then let's say it comes loose from his hand and falls down and kills somebody. That's in a downward motion, then he's potter. Here we have a picture. So he's on a some sort of roller, and I'm going to push this button. Okay. I don't know how many are on total, but I see 60 people just on YouTube, 69. It's growing. A minute ago, 60. Gewaldig. Okay, so good vach Rabbi Isai. A good mayid. I shouldn't say good vach. A good mayid because it's mayid. It's still yantiv. So, he was on the roller. V'nafla olav ha'rakto. Mishalshel b'chavis. He was lowering a barrel down, so it was on a downward motion. V'nafla olav barakta, and it fell on somebody and it killed him. He was going down on a. Oh, here we could do this. Let's see what's going on here. Oops, wrong one. No, okay, that doesn't have motion. He was lowering down some sort of heavy thing, like a barrel or a bunch of bricks. This is not even good. That's not a good picture. That's exactly what happened to the Reshiva. Wow. That's what happened to the Reshiva Reb Brandman, originally from Chicago. That's literally what happened to his son. He was walking by, and one of these pallets full of bricks hit him less than a half a year ago. And he was in a coma for a long time. I think he's doing much better now, but it was very, very bad. All these three things, you go to Golus. So Taisa says over here, interesting, he says that this is more like a loizu avzu. Let me just, here, I'll show it to you over here. He says, Yesh Oimrim, the Tana loizu avzu katani. Why are there three cases? Because each one is worse than the next. Loizu ma'agol devadi yesh l'chayv golos. Lemonizar, the guy with the roller, he's chayv golos. Why wasn't he careful? He's on a rooftop. You should have put like different demarcations telling people don't go there. But even a guy that's lowering down a barrel, the shapir mizar, chavrisa, he's more careful. He doesn't want his barrel to break. If it fell and killed somebody's chayiv. But of course, certainly when he's lowering his own body down, he's even more careful. So it goes in levels. The one that he's most careful is when a person puts himself down, comes down a ladder, he's super, super careful. Nevertheless, if he kills somebody when he comes down, he's chayiv. But what if he was pulling the roller towards himself? So it was an upward motion, and then it killed somebody, or he lifted a barrel upwards, and the rope broke. And it fell, and it killed somebody. When I was about 15, 16 years old, we had a sukkah on East 4th Street in Kensington, and I was lowering down these giant pieces of wood. Back in the day, we made a sukkah out of plywood. It wasn't like today, the thin little, real, we'll call it the quarter inch. What is it called? I already forgot. Half inch, quarter inch. It was thick. The kids was thick, and I was lowering it down like an idiot. I didn't know. I was lowering it down with a rope, and once it came off the porch on the 3rd floor, it fell down, and it ripped my hand. It ripped all my skin. And not the Luan stuff. No, the real. It was real thick stuff. It ripped my skin, and it just fell down. Imagine if somebody was walking down there. The plywood thing would kill him. Yeah, definitely plywood. All right. So now, he was upwards, walking up a ladder, and he fell and killed somebody. Here, like this. Let's show this one. Hold on. Mark, let's just do this guy first. So he's going up a ladder over here. He's working on the ladder, but here. We showed already, but Pavasnish. So over here, he's just work. So the shaila, why is that not part of the mission? Because he wasn't going up and he wasn't going down. He just fell. So that's different. Okay. Oh, this part is the best. He has to go to Golos. Shmak. Okay. Oh, I have to do sponsors, but we have to finish the mission to do sponsors. Zaklal. Anything that's on the downward motion, you go to Golos. And if it's not on the downward motion, you're not going. We're going to have a fascinating example coming up. But not immediately. How do you know it has to be on the downward motion? Oh, no, let's do the thing here. Turning of the Daf, sponsored by Dire Global, one-stop shop for all your financial needs. By Innovations LLC, in honor of our sons, Kalmo and Yisroel. I wish I could meet them. Innovations LLC, in honor of Kalmo, who's 12, and Yisroel, who's 9, for learning Sanhedrin and Makkos with their belly. In honor of our global and Innovations, true role models of how to support the Daf and learning. Says the Gemara, it has to be Vayapel, it says in the Pasuk, Vayapel Olav Vayomas. It has to be in a downward motion. Derech nefila. Torah Rabbanim b'shgaga prat l'mezid. Here in this pasuk in Bamidbar it says v'krisa lochem or mor miklat yana lochem v'nosham arutzeach ma'kenevet b'shgaga. Somebody who killed by mistake b'shgaga. Says the Gemara, what does it mean? Comes to exclude b'shgaga prat l'mezid, which the Gemara doesn't like. It comes to include somebody did it on purpose. Bivli das. Now we have the next pasuk. And this pasuk is in Devarim. Without an awareness. Prad Miskaven comes to include somebody that did it on purpose. Mezid Pshita, the first one. What do I need to say that somebody did it on purpose? Baktalo, he's a killer. A killer dies. Doesn't go to Galus. Omerova Ema Pratla Oimer Mutar. What do you think, Shlomo? If somebody thinks that it's mutar to kill, what category would you put him in? Is he a oines? Is he a mazid? Is he a shoygig? What is he? He doesn't know. He's 25 years old. He doesn't know that it's usher to kill somebody. He thought you're allowed to kill people. You say he's oines. Shouldn't he be? He should. You know, they say that if you don't tell a cop, I didn't know you're not allowed to go through a red light. What does the cop tell you? Ignorance of the law is forgot the lashon. When you're ignorant of a law, it's just as bad as knowing the law and not listening to it. You have to know laws. Don't drive if you don't know the law. Don't be in society if you don't know you're not allowed to kill. So we're going to have a little machlokes. You might be right, according to one man. So it says the Gemara. Okay, Givaldik. Tell Yoshi Givaldik. Thank you. Omar Rava Ema Prat Lo Imer Mutter. Says Rava. He thought it's mutter. Omar Le Abaya I Oimer Mutter Onosu. He's a oinus. He didn't know. Whoa. A guy, Mamish, he's a nebach. He didn't know you're not allowed to kill. Omar Le Shani Oimer HaOimer Mutter Karev Le Mezidhu. So we have a new concept in Shas. Shoygeg Karev Le Mezid. Oops, let me put it over here. Shoygeg Karev Le Mezid. What does that mean? He's a shoygeg, but it's very, very close to being a mezid. How did he not know? How does a person live in society not know you're not allowed to kill? It's also common sense. You're taking a guy's life away. You can't have children anymore. You can't have a family. It's a bad thing. There's also something called, I just want to point it out, it's called shoygeg karev le oines. Something like a guy that's driving a car and kills somebody. He could be a shoygeg karev le mezid. He could be very close to being, negligent and amazing, and it could be he's a complete oines. A guy ran right in front of the car and he had no way to see him or to stop. It could be a karev. A guy's on his cell phone and he's texting and he kills somebody. It might be karev le mezid. Bivli das, without awareness, prat l'miskaven. This comes to exclude somebody that is doing it intentional. As Gemara miskaven pshita baktalo, if somebody's intentional, kill somebody intentionally, he's chayv misa. Omer Rabba prat l'miskaven laharigis habehema v'harigis ha'adam. He had intent to kill, but he wanted to kill an animal, like the vice president. What was his name again? Who went through this already. He shot someone with a gun, but it turned out that he thought it was a deer, but it was his friend. Mark will tell me soon. That older guy. Okay. Lukusi. He was trying to kill, let's say, ignorance of the law. Vice President Dick Cheney. That's exactly what Dick Cheney shot his friend in the face because he thought he was an animal. What was the other one? The other one was ignorance of the law. I don't know where it is. Okay, it doesn't matter. Likusi, he tried to kill, let's say, idol worshiper, a kusi. B'hargis Yisrael. He would be potter from Misa if he killed the kusi, but he killed the Yisrael. L'neifel, he tried to kill a young, like a kid that's not going to survive. V'harag ben kayama, but he ended up killing a kid that will survive. Torah Rabbana. In bepeta. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. No, there's something better. The end is okay. It says in the pasuk, "Bepeta b'lei eva hadafa." If suddenly, without any hatred, he pushed him. A hishlach olav kol kli. or he threw on him any kind of vessel, but let's deal without ambushing him. So let's see the pasuk. Every word here tells us something. Im bepeta prat lekeren zavis. Imagine, I want to put that in. Okay, we had in Baba Kama. Maybe you could ask Yoshi, Mark, maybe send a message to Yoshi if he's not davening yet or whatever. We had in Baba Kama somebody coming at the corner. It's not the same thing, but he was with the pole and he was with the chavis. Remember? The bottle. Okay, so there's a corner. This guy's coming with a knife. And this guy's just walking and he gets killed with a knife. So that, the Gemara understands, there's different ways to learn it. I'm learning that it's shoygig, which is karev ta'aynis. He's in Ebach. There's no way for him to know that somebody's going to come at the corner. B'le'eva, without any hatred, prat l'sayne. If you kill an enemy, you can't claim afterwards, it was a mistake. There's no mistake. That you meant to kill him. Hadafai, he pushed, shedachafai begufai. Which reminds me, very sad, reminds me a little bit of the Miron tragedy. People got crushed there, so perhaps you could say, over there, I'm not even going into it. People don't get upset at me. I'm just giving you as an example. Might be a bad example, but maybe people there killed other people b'shaygig with a complete oinus. With their body, they crushed other people. So we said that the only way to kill to be chayiv galus is if you're going downward. What if I went up in order to go down? I want to get some momentum, so I went like that, like this. That's up in order to go down. So this upward motion, am I chayiv or not? We're going to talk a lot about it. Yerida she'tzorich aliyah. They say, by the way, in Islam, in Yiddishkeit, a lot of times you do yerida l'tzorich aliyah. You don't do it on purpose, but a lot of people, they have downs. And that down, that yerida, is in order to come back up. A lot of people, let's say, are on drugs. They have some sort of an addiction, and they won't get out of their addiction until they hit rock bottom. You need to hit that bottom, that yerida, in order to come back up. Which reminds me, I got to say, here it is. How'd you get it so fast? Beautiful. Yeah, let's go. Hit play. Very nice. 8-minute daf battle. I don't know what just happened. It's crazy. There's 80 people on YouTube. This is not the corner. Okay, but you get the idea. Fine. Different time. This is the corner one, I believe. There's something coming out of the corner. Yeah, definitely we have something in the corner. Zog the Gemara. We got to move. Below dia, without ambushing. Problems kavan letzad ze, v'hochal letzad acher. This Mark put in here for me. This is, he tried to throw the bowling ball this way, and by mistake it went the other way. Here we go. Woo! Okay. Get the idea? That's a complete shoygig karv la'inus. Va'asher lo'itzada. We don't need that one now. Asher lo'itzada, and this, which he didn't ambush, pratim skaven lizrik shtayim zarek arba. This is also karv la'inus. Why? He tried to throw something 2 feet, and it went 4 feet and killed the guy. Asher yova Yisrael bayar. You came and you found your friend in a forest. My yar reshus l'nizik u'lamazik. The karas l'sham, a forest, is for everyone to go in. The dam merger and the dam midji, both of them, the person that died and the person that killed, they both had the right to go in there. Afkal reshus l'nizik u'lamazik the karas l'sham. Ba'oi ba'minei rebavo merbiachna. Rebavo asked Rabbi Oila besula menishmat ashliva metachtav. A person was going up a ladder and the rung came down. So you hear the shaila of v'nafla v'harga mahu. Listen to the questions. Give out a good question. The guy is going up. He's climbing up a ladder. So we said that in order to be chayev galus, you have to be going down. So he's going up, but the rung, the step that he stood on, went downwards. So which one is it? Is it an upward motion or a downward motion? Let's see. Here's the corner. Okay, back in the day. Givaldi. So, you're the Shaila. He's going up the ladder, but the rung of the ladder went downwards. Is that considered a downward motion or upward motion? V'nafla v'argamau. Agavna Leah is it considered upwards, and Yerida is it downwards. Amalek, if I got to be Yerida, she'tzarech Aliyah. You already touched upon the question of going up in order to come down. You're going up the ladder, but it's literally like going like this. You're going up because you want to go down. So you're going up the ladder in order to push the rung down. And we said for that you go to Golus. Eisvei, Ziaklal. We have a question. Anything that's on the downward motion, you go to Golus. Upward motion, not. What does it come to include? Going upwards, what does it come? Aren't we coming to say our case? That he's going up the ladder and the rung went downwards. Okay, so you're saying that it comes to include something? So the next statement also comes to include something. Anything that's downwards, what is it? Everything comes to include something. It comes to include a butcher. I bought this. I sent somebody to the store, and I'm very grateful he bought me this. In the picture, it looked like it's much wider, much bigger, but okay, it's going to do the job. There's a katzov. There's a cleaver. I'm going to show you a beautiful thing that Yoshi did. It's going to explain the whole sugir beautifully. A butcher that was chopping the meat. Listen to this. We have three different halachas here. One brisa says that if it's in front of him, he's chayev, in back of him, he's potter. The exact opposite, la'achar chayev, lefon of potter. If it's in front of him, he's potter, but in back of him, he's chayev. V'tanya yidach, bein lefon of bein la'achar chayev. And the other brisa it says, in front and in back, he's chayev. V'tanya yidach, bein lefon of bein la'achar potter. But like kasha, what do? It's not a kasha. Can be yiridah shelefonov va'aliyah shela'acharav. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. Amazing. I guess I'll just show you Yoshi's. And here we go. Check this out. It's beautiful. Here. Here's the butcher. I just want to, maybe I'll show it to you first. The butcher, in order to get momentum, he goes downwards to start. So this is motion number one down. He comes up. This is up. That's up. Now it comes behind his back. That is down. This is up and down. So we have 5 motions here. It's starting point right over here. Down. Up is 2. Up until this point. Now we start going downwards. 3 down. 4 up, 5 down. Okay? Now we're going to see it in Yoshi. Here we go. Down is Aleph. It was very fast. In other words, this Aleph. No. Here, I used to work in construction. If you have like a 5-pound hammer, a 10-pound hammer, you never start over here. You always go from all the way down, and then you come back up. You start from the lowest point. So I'm saying this is a fast motion, but the point is he's not cutting here. Now he's just trying to get momentum to do bays. Boom, bays. That's up. That's down. This is up again, and watch this. The final thing is cutting the meat down. Geschmack. So, Now let's do it inside. It's very, very simple. All the downs, how many downs are there? There are three downs. This is one down, one up, second down, two up, third down. There's three downs. All the downs, you're chayev. All the ups, you're potter. And that's the Gemara's answering that when it says chayev, it means you're on a down. When it says potter, you're on an up. And you just have to, it's just very simple here. So let's see. Here, that's one, you're chayev. V'aliyah shalachrav, boom, you're potter. Kan ba'aliyah shalafanav yirida shalachrav. This one is talking about that he went that way. Down, chayev, up, potter. Great. Can be yirida shalafanav v'shalachrav. Aleph and Gimel in this chart, you're chayev. Kan ba'aliyah shalafanav v'shalachrav. And Beis and Daled, you are potter. Why? Because you're on an upward swing. Upward, you're potter. End the story. Gewaldig? Worked out great. Maybe I didn't have to buy this. Schmack. Let me cover this before I hurt somebody. Okay. Gewaldig. Next. Perhaps the machlokes tanoim hoyoila besulam minish b'toshliv b'tachtav. A person was climbing a ladder, and the rung fell down. So perhaps the question that you asked me before about the rung of the ladder falling downwards, here we see some machlokes tanoim. Perhaps this is the machlokes the Marslavi Yiridihi. That's exactly machlokes. When you go, your body's going up, but the step goes down. Machlokes is considered a yerida or an aliyah. Loi. Your body's going upwards, it's considered aliyah. But when it comes to being chayev, you cause damage. Let's say you're going up a ladder and a rung fell out and broke somebody's car. Of course you're chayev, because when it comes to being chayev for nizikin, it doesn't matter if you're sleeping, if you're up, if you're oinus, or you're always chayev. But we're talking about killing somebody by mistake and going to golos. It's only in a downward motion. Or perhaps no. Everything's talking about golos. When the rung is wormy, we have two answers that are saying the same thing. When the rung is wormy, so when you step on it, it actually goes down. When you stepped on it, there's a little give, and then it pops. So you didn't go up, you went down. You pushed downward. The Mela, you have to go to, it's considered a downward motion, you have to go to galos. But if it's not wormy, so it's very strong, and you're going upwards, and then it fell, then you are potter because it's an upward motion. Another pshat, it's not wormy, it's very, very strong in the ladder, so therefore there was no give, and therefore it's only an upward motion. Or it wasn't, the second pshat, the second Bryce is talking about where it's not very in there strong, so therefore there's a give. It's the same thing as wormy. There's a give, and therefore it's a downward motion, and therefore you chayiv golos. Says the Mishnah, Nishmat arbazim akotoi v'harag. He was using an axe, and let's do this thing right over here. He's using his axe, and the metal flew out of the axe. Okay, chayiv or not? So we have a machlokes. Rebbe Omer in a goyla. That's not what the pasuk is referring to. So you don't go to golos. That's exactly what the pasuk is saying. Is bakeya. But what does Rebbe say? Rebbe says the pasuk meant to say that when he's chopping wood and a piece of wood that he's chopping flew out and killed somebody, that you go to golos. The Chacham say no, that's not in the pasuk. Tanya Omer Rebbe the Chachamim. So Rebbe tells Chachamim. Does it say that the piece of metal came out of the wood? The wood came flying out. Another minor eights. So Rebbe is saying, look, you see from the pasuk that's a piece of wood that went flying, not the metal. Here, look at this pasuk right over here. It says the word eight in the beginning of the line. It says the word eight at the end of the line. Now, what's he trying to do? It says lichroi sa eight. He's trying to cut a tree. He's trying to cut a tree. And we're not talking about here. This is, let's call this an axe, okay? Here's the handle, and here's the metal. So he's saying, look, the first part of the pasuk is saying that he's trying to chop wood. He's not talking about the wood handle. He's talking about the wood that he's chopping. Lichroi sa eight. 99 people on Zoom, on YouTube. That's incredible. I've never seen such a high number. Unbelievable. Let's see if we get to 100. That'll be cool. Are you able to see that? I'm sure. Trust me, it's 100 on there. The people that are on there, if I was lying, they'd say no, it's not a 99. It went down to 96. People with dafka, they go off. What about the word eight in the beginning of the pasuk, and 3 words later it says eight? It's referring to the same wood, the wood of the tree that killed somebody, not the wood handle, or the metal that flew off the wood handle. That's not what we're talking about. They both learned from this pasuk right over here that's on the screen. It says the word v'noshal. It says v'noshal, but it doesn't have nekudas. So I could read it different ways. V'nishal ksiv. V'nishal means it caused something to go flying, which is the wood that he's chopping. No, you have to read it the way we read it, not the way it's written. V'noshal karinan. It went flying. Ask Gemara, what does Rebbe really say that we read it based on how it's written now, how we read it? Right? There's 2 ways to do it. We have a word. Is it the way we read it, which is v'noshal, or is the way that it could be read, the way it was written? It's Aim L'Mesayers. But Rebbe always says that we go by based on how we read it. Everybody holds schools for the way you read it, even Rebbe. That's why I needed 2 reasons. He says, look at this pasuk. The pasuk has the word eight over here and eight over there. Forget about the word v'noshal. Let's go by the words ha'etz. Rabbi Sai, have a good moed. We'll see you tomorrow, Be'ezer Hashem. Thank you for being here.